So hello friends, right now we are going to start with day 7. So we are moving to our sum number 14, I think so. So yes, we are moving to our sum number 14. Okay, so now we are moving to sum number 14. So I will be reading the sum for you all. The prevailing the prevailing risk-free rate of interest in 10-year Government of India Treasury bond is 5.5%. The average risk premium is 8%. The beta of the company is 1.1875. The company now wants to take up a project requiring an investment of 75 crores with a debt equity ratio of 20%. The beta of this project is 1.4375. The debt can be raised at an interest of 9.5% up to rupees 10 crores and at 10% for the rest of the amount. Find out the marginal cost of capital, and the tax rate is 35%. Now what they have told you is they have told you to calculate the marginal cost of capital. Now what is marginal cost of capital, I will be explaining to you. Whenever you start a new project and you want to find the cost of that particular project, you want to find the weighted average cost of that particular project, so you are going to calculate the marginal cost of capital. So marginal cost of capital is applicable to a specific project in which you want to invest your money. So right now I will be putting in all the details, and let's see how the sum goes. The prevailing risk-free rate is in a 10-year Government of India Treasury bonds is 5.5%. It means the risk-free rate is 5.5 percentage, which they have given to us. Give me 1 minute, I will make this little bit darker. Okay, so let's see. So the risk-free rate they have given to us is 5.5%, which is here. Then the average risk premium is 8%. I've already told you all that what is risk premium. Risk premium is nothing. Risk premium is nothing but the difference between the return of market, and the risk-free rate. So return of market minus the risk-free rate, this difference is called your risk premium, which is 8%. Now the beta of the company is 1.1875. Here you have to be careful that we are not at all concerned with the beta of the company. We are concerned with the beta of the project, since we are going to find the marginal cost of capital. So I am shading for y'all that this information, the beta of the company, this information is not at all relevant. So this information is of no use. Now the company now wants to take up a project which requires an investments of 75 crores. Okay, so we have to we have to start a new project, and we require an investment, that is we require funds to the extent of 75 crores with a debt equity ratio of 20%. So what they have given is they have given the debt equity ratio, and this debt to equity ratio is 20%. What it means is that the debt component is 20 and the equity component is 80 and the total amount is 100. It means the debt is equal to the 20% and the equity is equal to 80%. So if a project has an investment of 75 crores and we have a debt of 20%, so the remaining portion would be equity, which would be 80%. So how much amount of debt we are going to borrow? 75 into 20%, that is 15 crores. So 15 crores I am going to borrow the debt, and the remaining 60 crores I am going to borrow by way of equity. So the beta of the project is 1.4375, which is relevant for us. We require the beta, and we require the beta of the project since we are going to calculate the marginal cost of capital which is relevant to a particular project. So 1.4375 is the beta. Now the debt can be raised at an interest of 9.5% up to 10 crores and 10% for the rest of the amount. So what I will do is I require a debt of 15 crore rupees, right? So what they have said is that the debt can be raised at an interest of 9.5% up to 10 crores. Okay, so up to 10 crores I will borrow the money and I'm going to pay an interest of 9.5%, and for the remaining 5 crores I am going to borrow at the rate of 10%. So I'm going to borrow at the rate of 10%. So one portion of the debt which is equal to 10 crore I have got at a lower rate of interest, and the remaining portion of debt I have got at a higher rate of interest. We have to find the marginal cost of capital and our tax rate. So our tax rate is 35%. So what I have done is that all the details which are required from the point of view of the sum I have put it over here. So we need to find the marginal cost of capital, and we need to find the marginal cost of capital which is the weighted average cost. So what I am going to do is first I am going to find the equity part. Okay, so I will be finding the cost of equity, and the cost of equity I will be finding by the capital asset pricing model. So what does the capital asset pricing model says? That KE is equal to risk-free rate plus the beta. Remember the beta of the project we require, right? And return of market minus the risk-free rate. And this together you know that it is called risk premium. So we have already discussed this earlier. So now the risk-free rate is 5.5%. So the risk-free rate is 5.5. Then the beta of the project is 1.4375. So 1.4375 is the beta of the project, and this entire RM minus RF, that is the risk premium they have already given to us, and the risk premium which they have given is 8%. So I will be writing here 8. So this will be 5.5 plus, and this two we are going to multiply. So 1.4375 into 8 will give me 11.5 plus 5.5. So total we are going to get 17%. So what I have done is that I have found the cost of debt. I have found the cost of equity. Now I am moving to find the cost of debt with interest at the rate of 9.5%, with interest at the rate of 9.5%. So the cost of debt So this can be termed as that I have taken a bank loan. So the cost is interest, and on that interest there will be 1 minus tax, the tax savings, divide by the debt, and then we are going to multiply by 100. So how much interest will I pay on this debt? So on 10 crores I am going to pay 9.5%. So 10 into 9.5% to 0.95. So 0.95 lakhs is the amount of interest I'm going to pay every year, 1 minus the tax rate. So the tax rate is 35%. So this I will take it as 0.35, and the amount of loan which I have borrowed is 10 crores. I think it is 10 crores. Okay, 10 crores, and this I am going to multiply by 100. So here I am doing the answer 0.95. I will be multiplying by 0.65 upon 10, and this entire into 100. 0.95 into 0.65 divide by 10 and percentage. So I'm going to get 6.175 percentage as my cost of debt after taking into account the tax savings. Again, one more part we need to do. We will find the cost of debt with interest at 10%. Okay, with interest at 10%. So again, the cost of debt, the interest, it will help. Then we have to take the tax saving effect, divide by the debt which we have borrowed, and multiply by 100. So how much interest I will pay on 5 crore? I have to pay an interest of 10%. So 5 into 10%, so 0.5. So 0.5 lakhs, 1 minus tax is 35% upon the debt, and how much money I have borrowed is 5 crores. Okay, so I borrowed 5 crores into 100. So straight away I'm solving 0.5 into 0.65 divide by 5 percentage. So I'm going to get 6.5%. So this is the cost of debt. Let me recheck. 0.5 into 0.65 divided by 5%. Okay, 6.5%. Now we are going to find the marginal cost of capital which is related to that specific project. So we are going to find the marginal cost of capital, which is nothing but weighted average cost of capital for a particular or specific project. For a particular project. So what we have our sources, then we have the amount which we have borrowed, then we will take the weight, then we will take cost of capital percentage, and then weight we are going to multiply by the cost of capital percentage, which is WACC. So all these things we are going to consider right now. Okay, so one of the source is equity, then there is a debt, and again there is a debt component. One debt is at 10% and the other debt is at 9.5%. So other debt is at 9.5%. How much amount I have borrowed through equity? So through equity I will be borrowing 60 crores. So here I will be writing 60. 9.5% debt, how much I will be borrowing? So 9.5% debt I will be borrowing 10 crores and then 5 crores. Okay, so this will be 10 crores and this will be 5 crores. Okay, so I require 75 crores of funds in my project. Now 60 I will be dividing by 75 to get the weight. 60 divided by 75, so 0.8 will be my weight. 10 if I divide by 75, so 0.133, and this will take it 1. Take this as balancing figure because I've rounded off this part. So 1 minus 0.8 minus 0.133, so it will give me 0.067. Then the cost of equity is 17%. Okay, so the cost of equity is 17%. Then 10% debt is 6.5. Okay, and this 9.5% is 6.175. so this is 6.175. so I will be multiplying this two. So 0.8 into 17, so it will be 13.6. Then 0.133 into 6.175 will give me 0.821. Till 3 decimal places I am taking. 0.067 into 6.5, so it will be 0.436. so I will be adding all these three. 13.6 plus 0.821 plus 0.436, so I'm going to get 14.857. so this is my KO, that is the overall cost of capital. But since it is related to a specific project, I will term it as marginal cost of capital, and it can be taken as 14.86 percentage. So right now what I have made you all understand is that what is marginal cost of capital. I hope you all are following the lectures. Thank you.